Dr. Kang Minho was drinking his third cup of coffee when his computer started beeping. He looked at the screen and saw something strange. Radio waves from space were coming to Earth, but these were different. They had patterns like someone was trying to talk. Minho worked at the Seoul Space Observatory. He spent his days looking for signs of life in space. Most days he found nothing but space noise. Today was different. The signal was strong and clear. Minho put on his headphones and listened. What he heard made him laugh so hard that he spilled coffee on his keyboard. A deep, serious voice was speaking in perfect English. People of the small blue planet called Earth, we are the Galactic Empire. We rule over 1 million star systems. We have decided that your planet is a problem that must be fixed. Minho stopped laughing and started recording. This was either the biggest discovery in human history, or someone playing a very expensive joke. The voice continued. Your species sends out loud, annoying signals into space. Your radio waves are filled with chaos and nonsense. You have reality shows about people eating bugs. You make movies about robots that fall in love. This cannot be allowed to continue. Now Minho was laughing again. He grabbed his phone and started typing a message to post online. Aliens are complaining about our TV shows. They think we're too weird for space. The alien voice kept talking. We are the most advanced beings in the galaxy. Our ships can destroy stars. Our weapons can crack planets in half. We have conquered every world we have visited. Earth will surrender or be destroyed. Minho shook his head. These aliens sounded like villains from a bad movie. He kept recording while typing more messages online. Your leaders have 1 Earth week to surrender completely. Send your smartest person to talk to us. We will tell them how Earth will be ruled from now on. Refuse, and your planet becomes space dust. The signal ended. Minho sat back in his chair and looked at his computer screen. Either he was going crazy or aliens had just declared war on Earth because they didn't like human entertainment. His phone started buzzing. People were already sharing his posts. Within an hour, the alien message was everywhere on the internet. Most people thought it was fake. Others were scared. But many people, like Minho, thought it was the funniest thing they had ever heard. Meanwhile, at the United Nations building in New York, Ambassador Park Gina was having a very strange day. She had worked as a diplomat for 15 years. She had dealt with angry world leaders, trade wars, and peace talks. But she had never dealt with aliens. The UN Secretary General called an emergency meeting. All the ambassadors sat around a big table looking confused and worried. Someone played the alien message on the big screen. So, said the Secretary General, what do we do about this? Most ambassadors started talking at once. Some wanted to call the military. Others wanted to hide. A few thought it was all fake. Park Gina raised her hand. I have an idea, she said. Why don't we send them a message back? What kind of message? Asked the British ambassador. Gina smiled. Let's tell them they can have Earth after they prove they're tough enough to handle it. Starting with surviving one day in Seoul during rush hour. The other ambassadors looked at her like she was crazy. Think about it, Gina said. These aliens think they're so scary and powerful. But have they ever tried to catch a subway train when they're late for work? Have they ever dealt with traffic jams that last for hours? Have they ever tried to find parking in downtown Seoul? Some ambassadors started to smile. We should make them prove they can handle normal Earth problems before we worry about their space weapons, Gina continued. If they can't deal with everyday human life, how scary can they really be? The room got quiet. Then the German ambassador started laughing. You want to defeat aliens with traffic jams? Why not, Gina said. They're complaining about our chaos already. Let's show them what real chaos looks like. High above Earth, Supreme Admiral Vextar stood on the bridge of his massive warship. He was 12 feet tall, had 4 arms, and wore a uniform covered in medals. He had conquered 47 planets. Earth would be number 48. Admiral, said his second in command, we are receiving a response from the humans. Good, Vextar said. They are ready to surrender. The message appeared on the main screen. Vextar read it and his forearm started shaking with anger. Dear Galactic Empire, the message said, thank you for your interesting offer to take over our planet. We have discussed your request and have decided to make you a counter-offer. You can have Earth after you complete our test. Vextar's yellow eyes got bigger. A test? They want to test us? The message continued. Please send your best warriors to Seoul, South Korea on Monday morning at 8 a.m. They must successfully travel from Gangnam Station to City Hall using public transportation during rush hour. If they can do this without crying, screaming, or giving up, we will consider your demands. Also, the message added, your warriors must follow all traffic laws. Wait in all lines and be polite to other passengers. Bonus points if they can figure out how to buy coffee from a vending machine. The message was signed, the humans who are too busy for this right now. Vextar stared at the screen. In all his years of conquering planets, no one had ever asked him to take a subway train. Most species just shot at his ships or begged for mercy. Admiral, his officer said carefully, what are your orders? Vextar was quiet for a long moment. These humans were either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Maybe both. Send a scout team to this soul place, he finally said. We will show them that the Galactic Empire can handle anything. Back on Earth, Dr. Kang Minho was still posting updates online. His alien invasion post now had 10 million shares. News reporters were calling him every 5 minutes. But Minho wasn't worried about fame or fear. He was excited. For the first time in human history, people from space wanted to talk to Earth. Sure, they wanted to conquer the planet, but at least they were talking. He looked out his office window at the busy Seoul streets below. People were walking to work, buying food from street vendors and arguing about soccer teams. It was a normal Tuesday morning. Minho smiled. If these space conquerors thought human TV shows were chaotic, wait until they experienced real human life. This was going to be interesting. 3 days later, Captain Lee Junho was floating in space in his small fighter ship. He was playing music very loud and doing loops around the moon. The Korean Space Force had sent him to watch for alien visitors. So far, it was the most fun job he had ever had. His radio crackled. Captain Lee, we have incoming ships. Big ones, Junho looked at his radar screen. 12 huge alien ships were coming toward Earth. They were bigger than skyscrapers and covered in weapons. Copy that, Junho said. He turned his music up even louder and flew straight toward the alien fleet. On the lead alien ship, Commander Zefrik was preparing for an easy victory. The scout mission was simple. Land on Earth, scare some humans, and make them understand how powerful the Galactic Empire was. Sir, his pilot said, there's a small ship coming toward us. Zefrik looked at the screen. One tiny human ship was flying right at his battle fleet. The little ship was moving in crazy patterns, spinning and dancing through space. Is it attacking us? Zefrik asked. I don't think so, sir. It's just flying around us. Also, it's making a lot of noise. Strange music was coming from the human ship. It was loud and had a strong beat. The alien computers couldn't figure out what it was supposed to be. Junho flew circles around the alien ships. His fighter was small and fast. The alien ships were big and slow. Every time they tried to point their weapons at him, he zipped away to somewhere else. This is Captain Lee Junho of the Korean Space Force, he said into his radio. Welcome to Earth's neighborhood. Please follow all space traffic laws and keep your weapons pointed away from our planet. Commander Zefrik had never heard anything like this before. Usually when the Empire showed up, people shot at them or ran away. They didn't play music and talk about traffic laws. Human ship, Zefrik said. We are here to speak with your leaders. Surrender now and no one will be hurt. Sure thing, Junho said. Just follow me to the meeting point. Try to keep up. Junho flew toward Earth doing barrel rolls and impossible turns. The alien ships followed, trying to look scary and important. But next to the dancing human fighter, they looked slow and clumsy. Back on Earth, the UN had set up a video call to talk to the aliens. Ambassador Park Jina sat at a big table with representatives from every country on Earth. The screen came on, and Commander Zefrik appeared. He was tall and blue with too many teeth. Behind him, other aliens in uniforms looked serious and mean. People of Earth, Zefrik said, I am Commander Zefrik of the Galactic Empire. We are here to accept your surrender. Hello there, Gina said with a big smile. Thank you for coming. Before we talk about anything else, we need to know who we're dealing with. Can you please introduce yourselves? Zefrik looked confused. I am the commander. That is all you need to know. Oh no, that won't work, said the president of Brazil. On Earth, we like to know people's names, where they're from, what they like to do for fun. Fun? Zefrik repeated. Yes, hobbies, said the Prime Minister of Japan. What do you do when you're not conquering planets? The alien commander looked lost. Behind him, his officers were whispering to each other in their own language. We do not have hobbies, Zefrik said. We serve the Empire. That sounds boring, said the president of Kenya. Meanwhile, Dr. Choi Hana was in her lab, watching the alien ships through a powerful telescope. She was also broadcasting live on the internet, explaining what she saw to millions of viewers. "Okay, so those are supposed to be advanced alien warships," she said, pointing at her screen. "But look at this design. See those weapon ports? They're way too close together. One good hit and the whole weapon system would explode." Comments started pouring in from viewers around the world. Many of them were engineers and scientists who agreed with her. "And look at the engine placement," Hana continued. "It's like they've never heard of basic physics. Those engines are fighting against each other. No wonder they fly so slowly." On his ship, Commander Zephyrik was getting more and more frustrated. The video call with Earth's leaders was going nowhere. Every time he tried to make demands, someone asked him a personal question or changed the subject. "Enough," he finally said. "We are not here to chat. We are here to conquer your planet. Surrender now or face destruction." "Well," said Ambassador Gina, "we'd love to discuss that. But first we need to vote on it. Democracy, you know. Vote?" Zephyrik asked. "Yes, every country gets to vote on whether we want to surrender or not. It might take a while. We have 195 countries to hear from." The president of Finland raised her hand. "I vote no on surrendering. These aliens seem rude." "I agree," said the king of Thailand. "Also, their ships look poorly designed." "Wait," said the Prime Minister of Canada. "Shouldn't we ask them about their environmental policies first? Are those ships eco-friendly?" Commander Zephyrik's blue face was turning purple. His officers looked confused and angry. Dr. Choi Hana was still broadcasting. Her viewer count had reached 50 million people. Scientists and engineers from around the world were sending her messages, all laughing at the alien ship designs. "I'm getting reports that their communication system is breaking down," Hana told her viewers. "Apparently our translators are confusing them. They can't understand why we're not taking them seriously." "Maybe," wrote one viewer, "it's because they're not very scary." "Look at this," Hana said, zooming in on one of the ships. "They have what looks like racing stripes painted on their hull." "Who puts racing stripes on a warship?" Captain Lee Junho was still flying around the alien fleet. He had been joined by pilots from other countries. Soon there were dozens of human ships dancing around the confused alien vessels. "This is fun," radioed the pilot from Germany. "These aliens have no idea how to handle small, fast ships." "Their weapons can't track us," added the pilot from Australia. "We're too quick for them." The alien fleet tried to form a battle formation, but the human ships kept getting in the way. Every time the aliens tried to organize themselves, another human pilot would zip between their ships, playing music and doing tricks. Commander Zephyrik watched his perfect battle plan fall apart. His ships were bumping into each other, trying to avoid the dancing human fighters. His communication system was overloaded with questions from Earth's leaders about his personal life and hobbies. "Sir," his second officer said, "should we open fire?" Zephyrik looked at the chaos around him. His mighty war fleet looked foolish, confused, and helpless. The humans weren't even shooting at them. They were just having fun. "No," he said quietly. "Signal the fleet. We're returning to the mothership." As the alien scout fleet retreated, Captain Lee Junho did one last loop around their ships. "Thanks for visiting," he radioed to them. "Come back anytime. Maybe next time we can show you our planet. You might like it." Back on Earth, Dr. Kang Minho was reading the internet comments about the failed alien encounter. People were sharing videos, making jokes, and creating memes about the confused space invaders. One popular meme showed the alien commander's frustrated face with the text, "Came to conquer Earth. Got asked about hobbies instead." Another showed the alien ships with arrows pointing to their design flaws, titled, "How to Build a Spaceship, Wrong Answers Only." Minho shook his head and smiled. These aliens had no idea what they were getting into. Earth was just getting started. 1 week later, the sky above Earth turned dark. 10,000 alien ships appeared all at once, blocking out the sun. Each ship was massive, armed with enough weapons to destroy a city. Supreme Admiral Vextar had arrived with the full Galactic Empire fleet. General Kim Do-yeon stood in the Seoul Defense Center, watching the alien armada on his screens. As the head of Earth's military response, he should have been scared. Instead, he was thinking about lunch. "Sir," his assistant said, "the aliens are broadcasting another message." "Put it on the main screen," Do-yeon said, taking a bite of his sandwich. Supreme Admiral Vextar appeared on every TV and computer screen on Earth. He looked even scarier than his commander. His forearms were crossed and his yellow eyes glowed with anger. "Humans of Earth," Vextar said, "you have insulted the Galactic Empire for the last time. My fleet carries enough firepower to turn your planet into dust. You have one final chance to surrender completely." Do-hyun chewed his sandwich slowly and watched the alien leader make threats. "Send your world leader to my flagship immediately," Vextar continued. "They will sign the surrender documents and Earth will become a slave world of the Empire. Refuse and every city on your planet will be destroyed." The message ended. Do-hyun's phone started ringing immediately. World leaders, generals, and scientists all wanted to know what Earth should do. "General," his assistant asked, "what are your orders?" Do-hyun finished his sandwich and stood up. "Start Operation Confusion," he said. Within an hour, every country on Earth was broadcasting surrender ceremonies. The problem was they were all different. France surrendered to protect their cheese. Japan surrendered, but only on Tuesdays. Brazil surrendered, but only if the aliens promised to play soccer with them first. Russia's surrender ceremony featured a man in a bear costume. Australia's surrender included a warning about dangerous local animals. Canada's surrender was very polite, but mentioned that it might take a while because they needed to translate everything into both English and French. On his flagship, Supreme Admiral Vextar watched 47 different surrender ceremonies happening at the same time. His translator computers couldn't keep up. "Which one is real?" he asked his officers. "We don't know, sir," his intelligence chief replied. "They all seem to be official, but they all have different terms and conditions." Meanwhile, Dr. Yoon Seola was working in her language lab at Seoul National University. As Earth's top expert on alien communication, she had discovered something interesting about the Empire's translation system. "They can't understand sarcasm," she told General Do-hyun over the phone. "Their computers take everything literally. They also have trouble with jokes, idioms, and cultural references." "How do we use that?" Do-hyun asked. "I'm teaching our negotiation team to speak in riddles and dad jokes," Seola said. "Every time they try to talk to us, we'll confuse them more." The plan worked perfectly. When the aliens demanded to speak to Earth's leader, they were connected to the President of the United States, who spent 20 minutes explaining baseball using only metaphors about hot dogs and home runs. When they asked for military surrender, they were connected to a British general who spoke entirely in Shakespeare quotes. When they demanded economic terms, they got connected to a Japanese businessman who communicated only through haiku. Up in space, Vextar was getting angrier by the minute. Nothing was going according to plan. The humans weren't acting like any species he had conquered before. "Sir," his tactical officer said, "should we begin the attack?" Vextar looked at the planet below. According to his computers, Earth had surrendered 47 times, but none of the surrenders made sense. Some of them seemed to be jokes. Others were clearly fake. A few appeared to be marriage proposals. "Begin the bombardment," he ordered. The alien fleet powered up their weapons and aimed at Earth's major cities. But before they could fire, something strange happened. Thousands of small human ships launched from Earth at the same time. These weren't military ships. They were everything humans could get into space. Personal spacecraft, converted airliners, experimental rockets, and even modified hot air balloons. Every ship was playing different music, flying in random directions and doing whatever they wanted. Captain Lee Junho led a group of Korean pilots in a dance formation around the alien flagship. Behind him, pilots from every country on Earth were doing their own thing. Some were doing loops, others were flying in zigzag patterns. A few were spelling out rude words with their flight paths. "This is chaos," Vextar said, watching his perfect battle formation get scattered by thousands of tiny human ships. "How are we supposed to fight them? They have no formation, no strategy, no order." His tactical computers couldn't calculate firing solutions. Every time they locked onto a target, 10 more human ships would zip through the targeting zone. The humans weren't following any known battle tactics. They were just flying around randomly, having fun and making it impossible for the aliens to organize their attack. "Sir," his weapons officer said, "we can't get a clear shot at anything. The humans are everywhere." Dr. Choi Hana was back on her live stream, now with over 200 million viewers. She was watching the space battle through her telescope and explaining what was happening. "The aliens are trying to use standard fleet tactics," she told her audience, "but they only work against enemies who also use standard tactics. Humans don't do standard anything. She zoomed in on a group of human ships that were flying in a perfect spiral around an alien battlecruiser. Look at this. Those are farmers from Kansas in converted crop dusters. They're confusing a ship that cost more than most countries' entire military budgets. Comments poured in from around the world. Military experts were amazed. The aliens had superior technology and overwhelming numbers, but they couldn't handle the complete randomness of human behavior. General Kim Do-hyun was commanding Earth's defense from his bunker, but he wasn't giving orders to attack. Instead, he was coordinating the confusion. Group 7, start flying in figure eights around their command ship, he radioed. Group 12, I want you to fly backwards while playing circus music. Group 23, just do whatever feels right. The alien fleet tried to regroup several times, but every formation was broken up by dancing human ships. Vextar watched his mighty armada get completely scattered by an enemy that refused to fight properly. They're not even shooting at us, one of his officers complained. They're just flying around. Why aren't they afraid of us? Another officer asked on Earth. Ambassador Park Jina was fielding calls from alien negotiators who were getting more desperate by the hour. Please, one of them said over the radio. Just tell us what you want. We'll give you technology, resources, anything. Just make this stop. Make what stop? Gina asked innocently. This chaos. Your ships are everywhere. Our fleet can't move without bumping into one of them. Our computers are overheating trying to track all of you. Oh, those aren't military ships, Gina said. Those are just people having fun in space. It's like a big party. You should join in. The alien on the other end of the radio made a sound like a dying whale. A party? You turned a space battle into a party? Space battles are no fun, Gina said. Parties are much better. Want to dance? Supreme Admiral Vextar sat in his command chair, watching his invasion turn into the biggest disaster in Galactic Empire history. His fleet was scattered, his computers were confused, and the humans were treating the whole thing like a game. Sir, his second-in-command said carefully, perhaps we should consider a different approach. Vextar looked at the screen showing thousands of happy human ships dancing around his confused fleet. Some of the human pilots were waving at his cameras. Others were taking selfies with his warships in the background. What kind of species, he said slowly, turns an invasion into a block party? Dr. Yoon Seola had been listening to alien communications all day. Their language computers were breaking down completely. The aliens were starting to speak to each other in broken English mixed with random human phrases they had picked up from Earth's broadcasts. They're learning our language, she told General Do-hyun, but they're learning it wrong. They think awesome sauce is a military term and YOLO is a battle cry. The general looked at his screens, where alien officers were trying to give orders using internet slang they didn't understand. This is better than any weapon we could have built, he said, smiling. We're defeating them with pure confusion. As the day ended, the mighty Galactic Empire fleet was still floating in space above Earth, completely paralyzed by 10,000 humans who just wanted to have a good time in space. The invasion had become the galaxy's most embarrassing military failure, and Earth was just getting started. 2 weeks after the failed invasion, something strange was happening aboard the alien ships. It started when Bae Tae-hyun, a Korean content creator, accidentally broadcast his daily video blog to the entire Galactic Empire fleet. Tae-hyun had been making videos about life during the alien visit when his transmission equipment got mixed up with a military communications array. Instead of reaching his usual audience of college students, his video was sent directly to every alien ship above Earth. The video was simple. Tae-hyun sat in his Seoul apartment, talking about his day while making breakfast. Behind him, a Korean drama played on TV. The show was about a woman who worked at a coffee shop and was in love with her boss, but she didn't know that her boss was actually from a rich family and was pretending to be poor. On the alien flagship, Communications Officer Zektar was supposed to be monitoring Earth's military broadcasts. Instead, he found himself watching Tae-hyun's video. The human seemed friendly and normal, not like the chaotic fighter pilots who had scattered their fleet. "What is that human doing?" asked another officer. "I think he's preparing food," Zektar said. But look at the moving pictures behind him. There are other humans acting out a story. Soon, dozens of alien officers were crowded around the screen, watching Korean dramas with subtitles they couldn't read, but emotions they somehow understood. When the coffee shop woman finally kissed her boss, Half the alien bridge crew cheered. "Why are we happy about this?" one alien asked. "I don't know," Zektar admitted, "but I want to see what happens next." Professor An Minji had not planned to become the Galactic Empire's cultural consultant. She was just an anthropology professor at HFY University, studying human social behavior. Then the aliens kidnapped her. It wasn't a violent kidnapping. A small alien shuttle landed outside her office with a polite invitation to visit their flagship, as an expert on primitive behavior. Minji was curious enough to accept. Supreme Admiral, Vextar expected to meet a scared, primitive human. Instead, he found a small woman who looked at his medals and decorations with interest, like she was studying museum artifacts. "Fascinating," Minji said, walking around his command bridge. "Your social hierarchy is displayed through external markers. Very traditional. Have you considered that your rigid structure might be limiting your strategic flexibility?" Vexter had never had anyone analyze his culture before. "What do you mean?" "Well," Minji said, pointing to his officers, "everyone here is waiting for you to tell them what to think. That means you're making every decision alone. On Earth, we use collective intelligence. Many minds working together are smarter than one mind working alone." She pulled out her phone and showed him something called Reddit, where millions of humans debated and solved problems together. "This is chaos," Vextar said, looking at the endless discussions and arguments. "This is democracy," Minji corrected. "Productive chaos. Your empire runs on fear and obedience. Our planet runs on disagreement and cooperation." Within days, Minji was teaching alien officers about human social structures. They were fascinated by concepts like voting, dating, and fan clubs. "What is this shipping?" asked Commander Zefrik, who had been watching Korean dramas for a week straight. "It's when you want two characters to fall in love," Minji explained. "Fans pick their favorite couples and create stories about them, even if the characters never meet in the original story. Especially then, the more impossible the relationship, the more fun it is to imagine." Soon, alien communications channels were filled with debates about which characters from human TV shows should be together. The Empire's military report started including detailed analysis of romantic subplot. Social worker Jang Hyunwoo had volunteered to help with the cultural exchange program. The aliens had set up camps on Earth, where they planned to re-educate humans about proper galactic behavior. Instead, Hyunwoo turned them into friendship workshops. "Today we're going to learn about human emotions," he told a group of confused alien soldiers. "Everyone pick a partner and share one thing that makes you happy." The aliens had never been asked about their feelings before. It took 3 hours, but eventually they started talking. Some liked the feeling of flying through space. Others enjoyed solving puzzles. A few admitted they liked the taste of Earth chocolate. "This is not proper military behavior," their sergeant complained. "Why not?" asked Private Yixtal, a young alien who had discovered ice cream. "Happiness makes me work better. When I'm happy, I want to help my friends succeed." By the end of the week, the alien re-education camps had turned into community centers where aliens and humans taught each other languages, shared recipes, and played games together. On the flagship, Supreme Admiral Vextar was having the worst crisis of his long military career. His officers were spending more time discussing human TV shows than planning battles. His troops on Earth were learning to cook human food and asking for extended leave to experience local culture. "Sir," his second-in-command said carefully, "the troops are requesting relationship counseling." "Relationship what?" "They want to learn how to ask humans on dates, sir. Apparently it's very complicated. There are rules about who pays for food and when to send text messages." Vextar looked at his officer, a decorated warrior who had fought in 20 galactic campaigns. "You want dating advice? Well, sir, there's this human at the Seoul Cultural Center who makes really good soup, and I thought maybe—" Vextar put his head in his hands. His mighty empire was falling apart because his soldiers were developing crushes on soup-making humans. Dr. Seo Garam had started her therapy practice to help humans deal with the stress of alien invasion. She never expected to have alien patients. It started when a young alien officer showed up at her Seoul clinic, looking confused and upset. "I don't understand what's happening to me," he said through a translator device. "I used to be a proud warrior of the Empire. Now I spend all day watching human entertainment and wondering why the coffee shop woman doesn't just tell her boss she likes him." Garam nodded professionally. You're experiencing emotional growth. It's normal and healthy, but I'm supposed to be conquering your planet, not caring about fictional romance stories. Why can't you do both? Garam asked. Maybe conquering doesn't have to mean destroying. Maybe it can mean connecting. Word spread through the alien fleet that there was a human who could help them understand their confusing new feelings. Soon, Garam had a waiting list of alien officers who wanted to discuss their identity crises. I've been a soldier my whole life, one alien told her, but humans do so many other things. They make art, they tell jokes, they help strangers. Can I be a soldier and also be a person who makes art? Of course, Garam said. Humans are many things at once. You can be strong and gentle, serious and silly, loyal and free. The breakthrough came when Supreme Admiral Vextar himself showed up at her clinic. I don't understand your species, he said, sitting in her office like a confused giant. We came here to conquer you, but instead you're conquering us. You're making us question everything we believe about strength and power. Maybe, Garam said gently. Strength isn't about making others fear you. Maybe it's about making others want to be around you. Vexatar was quiet for a long time. On my homeworld, I was taught that caring about others makes you weak. How's that working out for you? Not well, he admitted. I have the most powerful fleet in the galaxy, but I have no friends. My soldiers obey me because they have to, not because they want to. Would you like to change that? Back on Earth, the alien invasion had become the galaxy's strangest cultural exchange. Alien soldiers were learning to dance K-pop choreography. Human teachers were giving language lessons to confused Empire officers. Korean grandmothers were adopting young alien warriors and teaching them to make kimchi, the mighty Galactic. Empire was discovering that humans had a secret weapon more powerful than any technology, the ability to make enemies into friends simply by treating them with kindness and sharing interesting snacks. And across the galaxy, other civilizations were starting to notice. If the humans could change the Galactic Empire with nothing but friendship and entertainment, what did that say about the Empire's power? Revolution was coming, but it wouldn't be fought with weapons. It would be fought with compassion, creativity, and really good Korean barbecue. 6 months later, the Galactic Empire was facing its biggest crisis in 1,000 years. It wasn't a military rebellion or an economic collapse. It was much worse. Nobody wanted to be part of the Empire anymore. It started with the Zephyrians, a species that had been conquered 200 years ago. Their representatives stood up at the monthly Galactic Senate meeting and made an announcement that shocked everyone. We're leaving the Empire, she said simply. We're going to try this democracy thing that the humans do. Also, we want to start our own version of Korean dramas, but with more tentacles. Supreme Admiral Vextar, attending his first Senate meeting in decades, couldn't believe what he was hearing. You can't just leave the Empire. We conquered you fair and square, but why? Asked the Zephyrian representative. What's the point of being conquered? It's not fun. The humans showed us that planets can govern themselves and still be friends with their neighbors. Ambassador Yu Jinwook had been invited to address the Galactic Senate as Earth's representative. He stood at the podium, looking out at thousands of alien species from across the galaxy. 6 months ago, these beings had wanted to destroy his planet. Now they were asking him for advice. Thank you for inviting me, Jinwook began. I've prepared a presentation called Why Your Empire is Basically a Cosmic HOA. The aliens looked confused. HOAs didn't exist in their part of the galaxy. A homeowners association is a group of people who make rules about how everyone else should live their lives, Jinwook explained. They tell you what color you can paint your house, what kind of plants you can grow, and when you can have parties. Sound familiar? Murmurs spread through the Senate chamber. Your empire tells entire species how to live, what to believe, and what they can do with their own planets. But here's the thing about HOAs. Everyone hates them. People follow the rules because they have to, not because they want to. Jinwook clicked to his next slide, which showed a picture of a neighborhood where every house looked exactly the same. This is what your empire looks like from the outside. Everything is orderly and controlled, but it's also boring and lifeless. Nobody gets to be creative or different or special. He clicked to another slide showing a diverse human neighborhood with houses of different colors, sizes, and styles. This is what Earth looks like. It's messy and chaotic, but it's also interesting and full of life. People choose to live here because they like it, not because they're forced to. Senator Claxtron of the Regellian system raised his hand. But without central control, how do you maintain order? We don't maintain order, Jinwook said. We maintain cooperation. There's a difference. Order is when everyone does what they're told. Cooperation is when everyone works together because they want the same things. What if they want different things? Asked another senator. Then they compromise, or they agree to disagree, or they find creative solutions that make everyone happy. It's harder than just following orders, but it's more fun and usually works better. Dr. Seo Garam's therapy practice had expanded beyond her small soul clinic. She now had offices on 12 different planets, and her waiting list included some of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Supreme Admiral Vextar had been coming to sessions for 3 months. Today he was talking about his childhood on the planet Dominion Prime. I was trained from birth to be a warrior, he told Garam. My parents were proud when I killed my first enemy at age 12. My teachers were happy when I learned to destroy planets without feeling guilty. How do you feel about that now? Garam asked. Vextar was quiet for a long time. Empty, he finally said. I spent my whole life learning how to hurt people. But the humans taught me that making people happy is much harder and much more rewarding. What would you like to do instead of conquering planets? I don't know, Vextar admitted. I've never thought about what I actually want to do. I only know what I was told to do. Garam smiled. That's okay. Figuring out who you want to be is a lifelong process. Even humans don't have it figured out. Really? Really? The difference is we're allowed to change our minds and try new things. Your empire doesn't give people that option. Throughout the galaxy, similar conversations were happening. Alien species that had been part of the empire for centuries were asking themselves why they needed to be ruled by someone else. The human concept of self-determination was spreading like a virus through the galactic community. The Crystalline Collective announced they were leaving the empire to start a democracy based on group, meditation, and crystal singing. The warrior clans of Andromeda declared independence and immediately began opening cultural exchange programs with Earth. Even the usually loyal bureaucrat species of Sector 7 submitted a formal resignation letter in triplicate citing irreconcilable differences regarding personal freedom and creative expression. Emperor Zarkul, the supreme ruler of the Galactic Empire, called an emergency meeting with his top advisors. He sat on his throne made of conquered worlds, wearing a crown made of defeated enemies' weapons. Looking very confused. How? He asked. Did one small planet destroy an empire that has lasted for 10,000 years? They didn't destroy it, sir, said his intelligence chief. They just made it irrelevant. What do you mean? Well, sir, turns out most of our member species only stayed with us because they were afraid. Once the humans showed them that they didn't need to be afraid, they realized they didn't need us either. Emperor Zarkul had built his empire on the idea that strong civilizations conquered weak ones. The humans had proved that the strongest civilizations were the ones that made friends, not slaves. What do the humans want from us? The emperor asked. Nothing, sir. That's the problem. They don't want to rule us or defeat us or take our resources. They just want to be left alone to do their own thing. And they want everyone else to have the same freedom. How do we fight an enemy that doesn't want anything from us? I don't think we can, sir. Meanwhile, on Earth, Ambassador Park Gina was dealing with a very different problem. Every day, more alien species were asking to join the Earth Alliance, an organization that didn't actually exist. We're not trying to replace the Galactic Empire, she explained to a delegation of former Empire worlds. We're just trying to be good neighbors. But we want to be like humans, said the representative from the peaceful tree people of Gamma Centauri. You've shown us that planets can be free and happy at the same time. You don't need to be like humans, Gina said. You need to be like yourselves, but free to choose what that means. The idea was revolutionary. For thousands of years, galactic civilization had been built on the idea that someone had to be in charge. The humans had proved that maybe, just maybe, everyone could be in charge of themselves. Dr. Kang Minho, who had started this whole adventure by laughing at an alien declaration of war, was now Earth's unofficial ambassador to the galaxy's growing number of independent worlds. He spent his days video calling with alien leaders who wanted advice on democracy, freedom, and the best way to make Korean fried chicken. The secret, he told a group of newly independent planets, is that there is no secret. You just treat people with respect, let them make their own choices, and share your food. Everything else works itself out. What if they make bad choices? Asked a concerned alien leader. Then they learn from their mistakes and make better choices next time. That's how growing up works. But what if they never learn? Minho shrugged. Then that's their choice too. Freedom means the freedom to be wrong sometimes. The concept was terrifying and liberating at the same time. For species that had lived under empire rule for centuries, the idea of being responsible for their own success or failure was both exciting and scary. But across the galaxy, planet after planet was deciding that scary freedom was better than safe slavery. The Galactic Empire was crumbling, not from external attack but from internal realization. Its citizens were discovering that they didn't need to be ruled by fear when they could choose to be guided by hope. And at the center of it all was a small blue planet whose greatest weapon was kindness and whose most dangerous export was the radical idea that everyone deserved to be happy. The Empire had tried to conquer Earth and instead had been conquered by Earth's most basic belief, that life was supposed to be fun and that friends were better than slaves. Supreme Admiral Vextar sat in Dr. Seogaram's office, looking out the window at Seoul's busy streets below. Humans and aliens walked together, sharing food and laughter. His mighty warship was parked in what had once been a shopping mall, now converted into a cultural center. "I've been thinking," he told Garam, "about opening a restaurant." "That sounds wonderful," she said. "What kind of food would you serve?" "I want to combine the flavors of my home world with Korean cooking techniques. Maybe people would like to try something new." Garam smiled. "I think they would." "What would you call it?" Vextar thought for a moment. "The Peaceful Warrior. A place where former enemies can share a meal and become friends." Outside the window, the galaxy was changing, one friendship at a time.